Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and another Today in Tarkov. I was a little late, didn't get anything out Monday or Tuesday, had some family stuff as well as the 4th of July, so forgive me. But we got some news today to update and I can catch you up on everything else that we had for the week. So let's jump right into it and not waste any more time. So first things first, we're getting patch 13.1 from BSG tonight as of filming this. So the servers are going to go down tonight, July 6th, at 3 a.m. Eastern time, which is 1 a.m. for me. That is 8 a.m. in London and 5 p.m. obviously the 6th in Sydney. So plan accordingly. They're saying the servers are going to be down for about 6 hours, but that's always a guess. It could be plus or minus. Now we'll jump into the patch notes. We'll look at those real quick. So we got lots of information from them. Changes. The key goal of this update, as they say, is to fundamentally change the architecture of player display and synchronization on client and their connection to the server. The goal that were achieved are they want to increase the number of network entities in the streets of Tarkov. So that means this is the 60 player thing they talked about. So this is players and player scavs. It means that there are more people available and that they might eventually push this to other locations. They're improving the hit registration accuracy. This is a big deal. A lot of people are having problems with hit registration. I don't know how many times I've shot a scav in the head, for example, and nothing happens, or even PMCs. You see blood on their forehead, and if for whatever reason you can talk to them after you shoot them, they're like, yeah, no, I got shot in the chest or something. So hopefully hopefully that gets fixed. Even if it's even better where we're at now, because it's in a pretty bad place as far as hit registration is concerned. Increase the accuracy of positioning of players on the server and client. Again, that's kind of a desync thing. Reduce the chance of desync with the server. Pretty obvious. Network traffic optimization and memory consumption optimization. So these are two huge things to help not just the game run smoother, but more accurate, I guess is the best way to describe it. Now we're getting more updates to audio, major updates to the Oculus Spatializer. God, they're such made up sounding words. And then weapon sound adjustments. Gunshots are more volumetric, adjusting interior reverb sounds with characters wearing active headsets, as well as balancing changes. So this is just more tweaks to Oculus audio, getting it better, which a lot of people are going to say Tarkov's audio still sucks, which is fine. It's not the point. Point is we are leaps and bounds ahead of where we were at the start of patch 13, which isn't saying much. That's a pretty low bar, but the game is sounding better and better. And in my opinion, many will agree with me, we're better than where we were with Steam audio. Not that there's not problems, just the ones that we're comparing, I feel like the game is better than it was with Steam Audio about a year ago. Now here's the big change. This one's a major change, and it's going to take a while to figure out exactly what this is going to mean and how impactful it really is, but they're reducing damage to blacked out limbs by 30%. And then slightly increasing blunt damage. What that means, I'm not totally sure, because that matters on your different ammo types, as well as different armor types, all have a modifier to blunt damage. So how that finally applies, I'm not totally sure. But something I do want to point out specifically with the damage, where we sit right now, currently, arm damage has a 70% reduction. So let's say you have a bullet that does, let's just say 100 damage for just the math simple. That means it actually only does 70 damage if your arm is blacked. It doesn't do full damage. Legs, those come in at a 1x modifier. There is no difference there. The only other one that most people need to worry about is the stomach, and it's a 1.5x modifier. So are these going to get reduced by 30%? Are some of the other stuff? We don't know for sure, but it has the potential. It just has to do with how percentages, right? Are they going to reduce 1.5 by 30%, or are they going to add a 30? Are they going to make it 1.8? That's what I get. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by 30%. So either way, it's going to have a pretty drastic impact on things like leg meta, and how long you can survive even full auto fights where you're not fighting somebody leg meta, but they're just hitting your arms and your armor and, sometimes your legs, just those full auto panic sprays, where everything kind of hits. Now moving down, we'll get into some of the fixes. They did mention something about reworking the bot spawn system in practice mode. This is just more tweaking of the co-op mode you can do with friends, which is cool, but not super important, at least not to me right now. List of fixes. They fixed the incorrect function of culling in some places in Streets of Tarkov. So this is the culling system, which is how they're getting better performance. Is basically if you can't see something, it doesn't render it. It's a very simplistic way of describing it, but what it is. And what that means is that I've seen it. you'll be going stuff and you'll see stuff just pop in or disappear, show up and disappear. And that's the culling system not working 100%. So they're just going to continue to tweak that. And that will eventually get applied to all other maps as well. Fix practice mode setting, getting reset when reopening the settings window. Fix bots not spawning in practice mode in the raid menu. We're not opening prior to starting the raid, just more of this co-op stuff changes. Fix the display signature of thermal sights showing through the weapons. Funny little bug where if you had the, the mini thermal, it's like a red dot kind of thermal almost, or holographic. If you had that on like a canted on your weapon, the overlay was weird and it would like bug out and show through your gun. Fixing that, which is cool. Not a huge impactful one, but kind of a funny one nonetheless. Fix the visual artifacts when changing the field of view while in raid. Fixed and optimized the rendering of glass and transparent objects in the streets of Tarkov. Now, I don't know how much of an impact this is going to be, but potentially a big one. Nikita had mentioned in previous podcasts that the glass is a huge problem. Breakable glass is a huge problem with streets and its performance. So hopefully this will have a big impact on people that are still struggling to run streets and make it more available for more players. So make sure you check that out if you've been having issues on streets in the past. Fix the cause of stutters in some specific areas on locations which could occur during the calculations of sound occlusion. I think this is interchange is the biggest one, but there's other places, labs, things like that. And I was pretty sure it had to do with the occlusion because they didn't really kick into high gear until they did the update to interchange and stuff like that. So it's really good to see this. Hopefully it fixes it, because interchange can be pretty hard to play right now. There's certain areas that when you get into them, like my frames drop to like 5 or 10 frames a second. It's just a slideshow. It's crazy, if not less. So hopefully that's a good fix with that. Fix the bug where open doors could muffle sounds or vice versa. Be fully hear through and have no effect on sound in closed state. Bug doors audio, we know it's there. Everybody's heard it. Hopefully this, it's not going to fix all the problems, because I think there's some issues we have, or there's more than one problem here, but they're progressing towards that. So just keep an eye out. If you're still seeing issues with doors, make sure you do a bug report about that so they can keep working on it and get sound better. Player scavs with high reputation no longer lose fence reputation if they kill the rogue bosses. This is a bug that's been going on for a while. It sucks. It have not happened to me, thankfully, but hopefully it's fixed. I always throw a caveat with some of these because sometimes they think they fix them, but there's more than one cause, so they kind of fix it, but it doesn't all the way. So just be cautious. If you're a player scav with like 6 or 7 scav karma, there was always a chance that you could nuke your karma on the rogue bosses. The next one fixed a rare bug where bosses or their guards would freeze after throwing a grenade. Kind of a funny thing to see. You'd see a guard throw a grenade or try to, and you'd shoot them or something, and they would just stand there. They'd run around like they were still in the game, but they couldn't heal. They wouldn't shoot you. It was kind of weird. So kind of a good bug to fix. Funny one, but something we don't need in the game, really. And then road decals are no longer superimposed on dropped items, equipment, and weapons. Sometimes you'd throw stuff on the ground. It was kind of funny. Like your gun would get the layer of whatever the road was, or some of the different surfaces imposed over the top of them. And it's not all on roads. So there's some other places that it could apply, I guess. There's some places that I know of, so I'm going to go check and see if they still apply or not. Not a big deal, just kind of a funny thing. Could make it easy to lose money and stuff like that because it would just disappear underneath it. But different deal. Now, and then lastly, the most important part of this probably is this update does not include the Unity version. In the near future, we plan to publish an update release roadmap for this year, which will include a game engine update, content patches, and more. So let's talk about the roadmap, because that is kind of the important piece where this all comes in, because we got patch 13.05. We were supposed to get Unity and then 13.1. We haven't got Unity yet. And for whatever reason, it's delayed. Don't know if they're having issues with it. Don't know if it's just something that hasn't fallen into place. Doesn't matter all that much. But we don't have Unity 2021. We're not going to get it. We're going to get patch 13.1, and it's not going to be a wipe, which a lot of people were expecting. So this kind of changes things up a little bit. Pretty much everybody expects patch 14 to be a wipe, but that's based off this current roadmap. We don't know what we're going to get from BSG. They're going to update this. Obviously, things have changed, and thankfully, they're going to let us know. So what does that mean? That means we've got a patch coming that's going to put Unity in the game. Is that going to happen with a wipe? Is that going to happen with something else? Who knows? I still feel like we have a wipe coming soon. The events that we've been having, the weeks and weeks, they're pretty much economy breaking, not full on to the level of like 100% boss spawns on a map, and just loot everywhere, and then like, you know, free stuff from the traders and everything unlocked, obviously. But it's this progressive work up to a wipe. And then the 6 month, we're right at 6 months. We're just past it now for this wipe. So I think one's coming. It's interesting to see that we're getting patch 13.1, but I think that's a great thing. I don't think it would be a good idea to do patch 13.1 with a wipe. There's too many problems. Get it on the servers, let people fuck around with it, let them get it broken, maybe fix some of the bigger problems before we wipe, but I still think we're close. So we're just gonna have to kind of wait and see what the next roadmap shows. I'll do a video once it comes out to explain my thoughts on it, get you guys up to date once we have that. But moving on, I think a big thing I want to talk about is the events, the one that's going on. I didn't do a video on it because I figured it would be over with, but I got an interesting reply to a tweet because when I got the notice for the patch, I said this patch is gonna remove the event. That's before I saw all the other news. I jumped the gun, my bad. And Apple, Daniel, who's a BSG rep, kindly came in and said the event is not being removed. So the event's going to stay. So let's do a little bit of news on the event, get you guys caught up so you know what's going on. If you don't, or if you're confused, or you don't know how to partake in this, because this is an event I think everybody should get in on. What the event is, the bosses, all of the bosses spawn 100% of the time on a specific map during a specific time. And that grid has been put together by the wiki. There are issues with this. And I don't know if it has to do with how servers kind of reset, but like, if you load in at, like, for example, on here, if you load in at 1401 Moscow time or UTC time, sometimes the bosses aren't on shoreline, sometimes they're still on customs, and then vice versa. So if you're right at the transition point of these times, the bosses can kind of be wonky. So just keep that in mind. For me, I've been just going factory and screwing around with the goons, which we'll talk about in a sec. The easiest way to figure this out in my mind is UTC. Instead of trying to do all these goofy time conversions, I just run off a UTC, which is Universal Time Standard. It's easy to do. You can have it on your Windows clock. I have, as you can see here, I have UTC and BSG on there. If you want to know how to do that, you just go into adjust date time. Let me bring this over here. And then you can add clocks for different time zones, this little thing there. And then you can just click which ones you want. So for me, that's what I do. I can look in here. I can see UTC right now. It's 7:50 p.m. So we're getting ready. We're right in the middle of reserve. They're on reserve right now, according to UTC. Or I'm sorry, no, yeah. Now the thing you have to remember is military time. Make sure you do your conversion right if you're US and you're not used to doing that. 7 p.m. 7 p.m. is 1900, not 1700 for those curious. Add 12. The other way you can get UTC if you don't want to go through all that is just Google, type in UTC, and it usually pops up right away on Google. It didn't here, but you can see it right there, 1952. Yeah, I'm super wrong. I just realized doing that I fucked up military time at 7:51 p.m. So we are 1700 right in the middle of shoreline. It's been a while since I've used military time myself. Maps. So for customs, you can see where they spawn here. Again, the wiki has all of this. You can pull up the maps, see where they're at. Gluhar's at Alamora Fort. Tagilla and Killa are at Old Gas. Sturman is in the Warehouse District. Sani at New Gas, which is terrifying. If you've never fought him around there from previous events, that's a dangerous place to fight Sanitar. And then Rashala is in Dorms. Let's go back to the next one, which will be Woods. Now, Woods, they're spread out all over hell. Sani's at Scav Bunker. Rashala is in Sunken Village. Gluhar is over at the regular village where Car Extract is. Sturman is at his normal home in the camp. And then Tagilla and Killa are around Scope Shack. Now, this could be a good thing or a bad thing. In the past, Tagilla and Killa's AIs are kind of wonky through bushes and stuff. They don't work really well. So they might be easy to kill and they might be a nightmare. I haven't fought them there yet, so I can't really provide my opinion on that. Shoreline, this has been the best place to get the task done. I think we'll talk about that in a second. But Tagilla and Killa spawn. A lot of people see him in admin, but they'll be in West Wing. East Wing is going to be Rashala. Sturman is at the weather station. Gluhar is at the docks, and Sani is at his normal spot for Shoreline. So night Shoreline has been the best way to try to get all of these done at the same time. If you want to do that for that event, which is what the task is kill them all in one raid. So it's challenging to do, but not impossible. Interchange is crazy. Hopefully tomorrow, once they get the stutters fixed, it'll be a lot better. but Gluhar can pretty much spawn anywhere on the first floor of the mall, the main floor where like Mantis and Brutal and stuff are at. Sani is in Goshen, Sturman is in Idea, and Reshala is in Ollie. Tagilla and Killa are on the second floor, and they roam, and they are very deadly, so be cautious. They will shoot you from the second floor down. They will shoot down the long hallways, and a lot of times they're hiding in a dark, shitty corner, and you don't see them until you see your death screen showing you that you died to them. And of course, I screwed that up. The last one is Reserve. A little bit more interesting of a map. I've always had fun fighting the bosses on this map. Reshala is in the pawn buildings, which is over by the helicopter. Sturman will be in Black Knight, which is one of the mechanics buildings. Tagilla and Killa are in White Knight. Gluhar is in his K buildings, and Sani is underground underneath the K buildings. This is where those cages are at. That is the bunkers where Sanitar will be, which, yeah, these are all Gluhar spawns. So if you know the Gluhar spawns, that's where you got to look. And that is pretty much the event locations. Let's go look at the tasks real quick. Peacekeeper's task. This is the one that you've got to kill all of them in a single raid. It gives you some T7, $60,000, which is a shitload of dollars. Isn't that like that's like 6 million rubles, I think, equivalent. So a lot of dollars. SIG MCX and a SIG MPX, kind of whatever. But you can use these to clean up some of your other tasks that we've gotten from the previous events. For example, tourists, you can go into, I forgot to mention, the goons are 100% in factory. And it's a shit show. It's a blast. You can go in there with shitty gear and just kind of run around and have fun. There's Uber Chads running around. The scavs are wild. But the goons are 100% on factory, and it's fun. This one here, let's see. Let's go to setup. That's your bloodhounds. That's not the one I'm trying to think of. Where's the task that I'm trying to think of that I'm working on? You've got eliminate Tagilla, Killa, Reshala, Sturman, Gluhar, Sani. All of those are on there for getting done without dying. Pint, here we go. Yeah, this one from a while ago that unlocks PvP. This was one of the first ones. I've gotten most of my scav boss kills doing it with this event. So I still got to get kill, obviously. Raiders and rogues, you can do those, and priest. So you can use the current events to get previous tasks done. So keep that in mind. But I've been rambling forever. I think that's all the information you guys really need for this. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If we get more info, I'll make sure to keep you guys up to date, and we'll sign off there. Appreciate you guys. Wish you the best of luck in your raids. Have fun with the events, and we'll see you in Tarkov.